Welcome to The Complete Teacher, 101 meaningful, bite-sized professional development lessons, each coming with thought-provoking titles, relevant, inspiring quotes, helpful text with anecdotes, data, and wisdom, and action steps. Lesson 28, What Goes Into a Unit? How to Mix an Ideal Recipe. Stephen Covey famously says, start with the end in mind. A unit can mean different things to different people. It can range from a few lessons to dozens of lessons. The series of lessons are tied by common themes. A unit might utilize slideshows, devices, research, activities, tasks, image or video analysis, a series of problems, or creating a product. Regardless of how long the unit or how you choose to develop it, keep in mind these three universally applicable tips. First, backward planning, also called backward design. Backward planning designs a unit based on the final goal. When the goal is standards driven, this type of unit can be called a standards-based unit of study, or SBUS. If you want students to meet certain standards or to answer certain questions on a unit exam, then you start with the material on your exam when you go about planning the unit. If you want students to generate a final product, to demonstrate a set of skills, or to organize information by the end of the unit, the lessons leading up to that objective should prepare students to succeed. A unit makes much more sense with the end in mind. Second, looping information. Consider an art unit that looks at works from dozens of famous artists in sequence. Now imagine a math unit that presents several different skills and has students apply the skills to solve problems in a culminating activity. Depending on the content, student learning can be quite linear, like the art unit, or can build in complexity, like the math unit. Let's consider a history unit next. The lessons of a history unit might be linear, such as a chronological overview of major occurrences within a larger historical event. The lessons might also build in complexity, as causes and effects often intertwine, and as there are conflicting perspectives or interpretations of events. Either way, you're able to loop the information as you go. Looping, also called spiraling, is more than just review. It's about highlighting connections that exist throughout the content. For a linear unit, looping means revisiting content. Hey, remember when we learned about Van Gogh's style? I'm noticing Monet has a similar style, but with more pastel colors instead of bright ones. And for a more complex unit, looping means resynthesizing content. You already know how to find the area of a triangle and a rectangle separately. Now apply these skills to find the area of this new shape that looks like a triangle on top of a rectangle. This practice will prepare students for a final assessment, demonstration, project, or task that they work through with the connections throughout the unit. Then you have formative assessments, also known as informal assessment or checking for understanding. Formative assessments refer to the ways in which you measure student progress. You should be monitoring their progress and giving timely feedback. Formative assessments work to gradually prepare students to succeed with whatever it is you expect them to do by the end. Unless you want to be behind the eight ball when students are expected to perform at the end, consistent, effective feedback for students is a necessity. Sprinkle a little slideshow, list a few key terms, develop a graphic organizer or two, sneak in a primary source, get your devices ready, plan the activities, prepare them for a final activity, and voila, you have yourself a unit. Just don't forget to plan with the end in mind, to loop information, and to check their understanding along the way. Action steps. Before you begin your next unit, be sure that you aren't simply going from one lesson to the next, hoping students remember it all by the end. Start with backward planning, deliberately looping information and using formative assessments to allow students to practice and build skills before the final test or task. Need a copy of all the Complete Teacher lessons on slides? Looking for an e-reader or physical copy of the Complete Teacher? Want to browse thousands of other top-rated engaging resources? Check out the links below.